Sorry, we got a lot of
Don't mind her.
The blue bag will take anyone out.
I know. We discussed this before we watched it, how we weren't going to take people out.
At least you had to play it. Let's go.
Website's good. I've checked in a
It's a presentation on Zack.
lot. Do you have a slideshow? No, just sponsors.
All right, we'll get started. Anyone else joins, they join. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Awesome. My name is Ray. I'm the founder, chairman, and CEO of the Little St. Nick Foundation. This is Zach.
Nice to meet you all. I am our COO, so we're excited to talk to you guys today. I kind of like that we have a smaller group because I think we can do a little more Q&A after we get through the generic stuff. I'll pass over to Ray, founder. He's got the good story, so I'll let him go from there.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool to be here. We really implement in a lot of the things that we do as a nonprofit on a daily basis right back to entrepreneurship. And there's a lot of common misinformation about nonprofits and how to run them. And I was an entrepreneurship major, and I started this organization back when I was just 6 years old. I'm from Long Island, and when I was 4, I woke up one morning, had pain in my hips, and I couldn't walk. So my parents took me to a local children's hospital. It was super traumatic, nothing to do, and no idea what was wrong with me. And at the end of the day, we found out I had a hip joint disease, where for 2 years I had to wear a brace like this on my legs for 12 hours a day and could only walk. I made a full recovery, and at the time, all I cared about was I was able to go home. So my parents told me that kids had to stay in the hospital for days or months or years. I just couldn't believe that, and naturally had this passion and feeling of gratitude even as a 5-year-old to want to do something. So my birthday's Christmas Eve, hence the name Little St. Nick, and I decided to give my birthday and Christmas gifts back to the hospital I was in when I turned 5. And it was just such a good feeling. I wanted to keep doing more. And my parents really supported me to not just give my own toys, but they asked friends and family for toys, and they were entrepreneurs of their own. And they said, we'll help you start a nonprofit if you want to keep doing it. So I sort of grew up thinking of different ways to help kids in crisis in my local area, and then was able to scale it now across the US and into Canada. So it's a lot of the same entrepreneurial principles that I'm sure you guys implement in your student orgs and back at university, or even just everyday thinking. And that's really why it's so cool to be here, a part of this conference. So I'm going to play a little 5-minute video that sort of gives a good breakdown of who we are, what we do, and sort of what our vision is. And this is usually what we show people that are interested in getting involved with our organization. And as Zach said, we really love to make this something that's interactive, Q&A style. If there's anything you guys are looking to get out of this, from nonprofit leadership to operations to logistics to running a board meeting to your student orgs, just let's keep this open, because believe it or not, a few years ago we were in your shoes as college students. So
I think it's good too, because everything that we do is nonprofit based, obviously. So we have to find value outside of what someone can just pay for or what we can provide to someone. We have to create value to get people to donate to us so we can give them in-kind donation receipts. So there's things that we can kind of pull that for you guys hopefully is more profitable based, but it's something that we're using on our side where we're trying to get the funds in to give them back out. So it's kind of twofold how we work our operations, but I think there will be a lot of value in that for you guys to learn exactly what we're doing kind of outside the box thinking to bring money in, which I think transpires well to profitable businesses. Let's do it.
A true sound of the season from Dominic Filano as he opens a new toy bus. The 2-year-old, one of dozens of children who got to dive into this tremendous stack of toys at South Nassau Community Hospital. This is the man, well, boy, responsible. 9-year-old Raymond Mohler, aka Little Saint Nick, who spent all year raising the money himself.
That is so ridiculous,
I woke up in the morning with pain in both of my hips. I couldn't walk, and my parents took me to the hospital. I was in the emergency department on Long Island for about 8 hours, and they figured out I had a rare hip joint disease called like herpes. And on the car ride home from the hospital, I asked my parents, those other kids that I saw in the emergency department get to go home at the end of the day. And they said, no, some of them have to stay in the hospital for days or months or years or forever.
Just before his birthday, he came to us and said, I want to give all my birthday toys back to that hospital. But it didn't stop there. 2 years later, the Little Saint Nick Foundation was up and running in Ray's home state of New York.
He sets up donation bins at 15 local schools and businesses to collect toys every fall. Raymond's foundation also grants wishes, one of which was an $80,000 home extension for a severely handicapped child. For choosing to focus on the needs of others rather than his own challenges, for creating a foundation that is right in the hospital stays of thousands of sick children. We are so proud to announce that Raymond Mohler is a Prudential Spirit of Community National Honor.
Oh, there's a buffer.
We're gonna send you to Broadway to see Harry Potter.
Really?
Yeah. The child first gets to the hospital and they're scared, they don't know what's wrong with them, they're isolated now. These kids in the emergency department, they walk in and they check in right away and they get a gift bag. And it just changes their whole mood. It really just changes the whole hospital experience for a patient. For a couple hours, you really forget about all of their pain and suffering. Not just to give them toys, but to take their mind off of everything they're going through. And that's really the goal, to leave them a long-lasting memory and smile.
Both my head and the back of my head.
So when he went into the room, all this fear came out. He was terrified. And one of the nurses came in with the Sputnik gift bag, and everything changed.
I think the Little Saint Nick Foundation, it stands out mainly because it's about kids helping other kids.
It's directly helping the kids in our hospitals, and I think that's really cool that we get to see how our work is going to impact them.
I think getting gifts and having a positive experience when you're in the hospital really totally transforms it for them.
I absolutely love it. It's not only an incredible organization, but also incredibly inspiring that someone so young started it.
Thank you so much for inspiring me to do something like this because I would never thought of giving back to other kids.
Okay, bud. Inspiring kids movement that we're creating right now. We're forming the future leaders of the world, really.
I have such tremendous gratitude that my son didn't have a life-threatening illness, and I just want to continue helping my son get back to all these other families that aren't as fortunate that are battling for their lives. It's so special to be able to take a 3-year-old child and help them color in a Little Saint Nick Foundation t-shirt with a fabric marker as they're hooked up to 4 IV bottles in their back. And their parents are standing behind them, smiling, and they're not working. I have to give up my time to continue helping them. Otherwise, how selfish would I be?
Something I plan on doing and being a part of for the rest of my life.
Still gets me every time. I think what's really cool, and it's probably where you guys are at this current point, is that snapshot we played at the beginning of every single event, fundraising event, volunteer event, anything like that, because that is kind of the idea to what stemmed forming this initiative to give back, which then in turn has turned into a legitimate business. So I think that would be a great place to even start, is how you went from where you were to entrepreneurship student to creating a business, you know, all within the span of a couple of years.
Yes, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life going to college. I didn't want to think about going to college. I didn't want to look at colleges, and my parents really forced me to expand my comfort zone. And I was a big homebody growing up, and visited the University of Tampa. How can you not love the campus? Had my parents put down a deposit, and that was it. So still came as a freshman, no idea what I wanted to do or what the future held for this organization. My parents thought it was over. And part of that video, you saw some of the other kids speaking up about being able to give back. That was from a Nickelodeon documentary I was on that aired all over the world. And what happened from that is other kids saw what I did in 30 minutes and wanted to do it too. So that was a case study of a boy in St. Louis, Missouri, right when I started my freshman year, that wanted to bring Little St. Nick to his hometown. And he was able to inspire hundreds of kids to come together, to volunteer, to pack our gift bags. He did a toy drive, and this one kid inspired 100 kids plus, and they helped thousands. And we really saw this ripple effect of others giving outside of myself. And just naturally, intuitively, just as what I was as a kid, wanted to keep this going and keep this growing, not just in New York, not just in Florida, but everywhere. Because it was so simple to have a localized impact in St. Louis, Missouri with a 12-year-old boy. I had no idea who the heck he was, but we did something really special. And being able to help over 2 million kids over the years, you know, everything just sort of flowed, you know, from myself to my parents and getting involved, and volunteers and people just wanting to help. So at this point I said, all right, I want to keep doing this. How do I grow this? How do I scale this? And we talked to some people that were involved with other nonprofit boards, and they said, well, you got to build a business plan, you got to recruit a larger board of directors, you got to get an office. So we did that all within 6 months. There was some help from a university professor of mine and some other people that were inspired over the years. And we said, all right, we have a business plan, a general idea of what we do, how we can get people involved, and how we can make this a localized impact. But now we got to get to the process. How do we go from, okay, we have these gift bags, we have these one-off volunteer events, we have these one-off hospital partners, how do we streamline all of this? And all of that is the entrepreneurial process, really, and the way of thinking, no matter what you're doing in life, whether it's a nonprofit, whether you're running a business, whether you're running your everyday life, you know, you really got to have the similar think, do, repeat mindset. So I honestly didn't even hear about entrepreneurship as a major until my end of my sophomore year in college. And I really got involved with the entrepreneurship program at UT, and that really set a foundation to enhance everything we were doing, from our business plan to our operations, and really seeing, okay, you know what, someone's running a marketing firm, someone's running a finance company, but we're all sitting at the same table. We all have different issues, but there's still a similar roadmap to solving those problems. It's just a process. So that's why I think it's pretty cool that we're here. I know within the Lowe Center itself, we were the only nonprofit to operate out of there and be in the entrepreneurship program, which is really cool. And even still, we have outside business leaders or professors, professionals who say, I just don't get it, you're a nonprofit, what are you doing here? I said, well, running a nonprofit is the same thing as any other business, but harder, because we have more regulations and we got to do the same exact process as everyone else. So, not sure what happened. But anyway, I graduated right when COVID hit in 2020, as if my man Kyle here. We were doing Zoom classes together in April of 2020. And we had a lot of momentum. We started to duplicate things we did in New York over the years, down here in the Tampa area, and we're really trying to come up with a model that's easily duplicatable. And then COVID hit, and that was a really good instance of, okay, now what do we do? We didn't have any full-time staff. All of a sudden we would do these large toy drives and collect hundreds of toys. Next thing you know, hospitals are saying we don't want these toys, and it really it was a tough time for everyone, but especially for us. I just graduated and we really had kind of stuck in a way. And the interesting thing from COVID and the hospitals we worked with, our gift bag program, which is given out to every kid as they enter a facility, that became more important than ever. And even with COVID and disease control and all that stuff, the healthcare facilities we partnered with trusted us enough that they know the items in the bags, coloring books, crayons, Pop-It toys, inspiration cards, had a quality of care from our years of working with them, and they needed them more than ever because hospitals became crazier than ever. So, from COVID, we really took a negative into a positive and really centered our programming around this one gift bag, which really made it easy for anyone to get involved in the community. I know we have Florida Gulf Coast here, who saw us at the conference last year, and they really raised over $1,000 to pack 100 of our gift bags and do it as a volunteer event in their own community, and that's what we've done across 10 plus states now in the US and up into Canada. So really making things as easy as possible has been a big part of our last year and a half, 2 years, and Zack running our operations has really helped streamline everything we do internally and everything that anyone else that wants to get involved with our organization, making it turnkey and easy to relate to.
Yeah, I mean, my story is nowhere near as good as Ray's, so we don't get in too much of the background, but I went to school for business management and creative writing. Ray and I have been friends forever, so I always knew what they were doing, what him and his family were doing. I got involved, I packed gift bags, I brought them to the hospitals, all that, the feel-good stuff. When I was growing up, and it felt amazing to have someone in my life that was able to inspire me to help other people in need, because that wasn't even something I was thinking of as a young kid playing sports. I didn't think I needed to go out and help someone else. That wasn't on my radar. And then when Ray and I became really good friends, I was like, wow, these are things that we're doing on top of our extracurriculars, and they're benefiting someone else. So fast forward a bunch of years, I'm in college, and everything that he just mentioned happens. They want to bring what was going on in New York to Florida, and we need someone to really help with New York, part-time, full-time, to really kind of continue the impact there while we try and spread it elsewhere. So I joined on when I was a senior, working my last semester full-time here, and trying to graduate at the same time was incredibly difficult, but as soon as I graduated, I focused on amplifying the impact in New York, because as of right now, we're partnered with about 8 to 9 different healthcare facilities in New York. But at that time, we were really just focusing on giving to 2. So the idea was amplify the impact in those 2 and then let it spread from there. They're both within the same healthcare system. It's very seamless from there. If you show proof of concept in 1 to 2 hospitals, why not take it to the rest of the chain? So I spent 6 months to a year doing that. And then when we thought about expansion, Ray being the CEO saying he needs someone to run all the operations. So the idea was we wanted to take this to, we want to take it to the rest of the world, but that's a lofty goal. So let's start here in the United States. So we wanted to scale, and we wanted to scale rather quickly. So we tried to amplify the impact, expanding to about 7 different states in 6 months or so. And that was a lot. It was something I wasn't expecting to be in the nonprofit business. That wasn't my specialty. It wasn't exactly what I was learning, but it was something that I could take everything I was learning, my experience, and turn it into what I thought, how would a profitable business scale and build, and turn that into our nonprofit side, where we're still doing that, but everything we're taking is creating value for someone else that's in need. So that's kind of where this all began, and then we went and we expanded. We went to those 5 different states at the time, And the idea was kind of create awareness. How our operations work as a whole is we go to a market, we fundraise, we get the money in. From there, we schedule volunteer events. So that's where one aspect of our company is kids inspiring and helping kids. So there's kids in the community that want to give back to other people in need. So they do these give back initiatives. We work with Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, youth groups, schools, businesses, after school programs, things like that. They pack these bags and then they give them to the hospital. And that's one kid helping another kid in need, and the pediatric patient benefits from that gift bag and the coping mechanism that it provides. So we tried and successfully did that, but the idea of expansion wasn't fun. It was a lofty goal. It was more work. It was more time. It was something that we probably weren't ready for, and that's okay. That's gonna come up in your business plan, and you're gonna face those goals, and you got to take the leap at some point. The only thing I wanted to maintain focus on was, don't expand just to expand. Don't do it rapidly just because you want to. You have to do something that's going to sustain impact. You want to go to a new market. You can't go there and then leave. That's not how we work. We want to go into a healthcare facility, and where one kid is receiving a gift bag and benefiting from it, the next kid that comes in after should get the same benefit. So the idea of successful expansion was incredibly tough. We went to these markets, we raised the awareness, which I think is the biggest thing you can do, whether it's word of mouth, social media marketing, anything like that. You have to create awareness about your brand and your product, because then if someone just at least knows about you, as soon as you approach them and you want to work with them, that is going to create an initial barrier that you're breaking down, and they at least are just aware of what you're doing. So we scaled, we looked at creating awareness in these markets and giving back. We publicized everything that we did, and then we did that over a span of a year, and then we launched into Canada. So that was creating a nonprofit entity there, which I will not bore you with trying to do that in Canada, which is extremely difficult, but it just kind of goes to the same idea that we're trying to bring this, but we're trying to bring it everywhere successfully. So we spent about a year creating awareness in the 7 states and the 3 provinces in Canada that we're in. And then over this past year, kind of right as the calendar year turned, it was how can we turn that awareness and amplify the impact? Because now we're in, we went from 5 healthcare facilities to 40. We went from 2 states to 7 and 3 provinces. How can we use that foundation that we've now built in this business and amplify the impact in all those areas? So that's where we kind of really focused on streamlining the give back program. Like I mentioned, we went to all those markets, we did the outreach, we did the promo, we scheduled the events, got the sponsorships everywhere that we could. And with that being said, this was our most successful year yet. I know we're not at year end yet, but we have a lot of projections to the end of the year. We're gonna, I think, increase distribution rates by like 37%. We went from giving one-off to those 5 and then 40 healthcare facilities, and then we've successfully given back to about 30 of those healthcare facilities. So we really only saw one-off giving in 10 of those. And from there, throughout the 10 markets and in Canada, we're at well over 50 plus community events, which are packing the 16,500 bags that we're giving out to these hospitals. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride to be where we are today, because now when I joined, we're small business, and now we're kind of entering some sort of a mid-market level where now we're having higher up conversation with hospitals. How can we give a gift back to every single kid in the hospital? You serve 1,000 pediatric patients a month. How does that work? Can we create partnership outside the hospital to bring it into the hospital? So now working with corporates, partners, and things like that. So I think streamlining your business and having a clearly defined goal of what you want to do and achieve is going to be the biggest part. And that's very simple to say, but it's often the hardest thing to really hone in on, because for a while you may be chasing something that you want but may not be the best thing for your business. As soon as you can visualize exactly how this can be successful and sustainable, that's where the culmination of your success is really going to start for the companies that you guys are building.
And for us, back in 2017, where I saw Kids Inspired helping kids, my immediate thought and gut reaction was, I want to take this everywhere. So the reason that we are scaling and scaling quickly in different markets is because that's what we want. We want to have the most amount of spread out impact. Could we have just focused on New York and Florida and had more than enough work to do there to spread our impact? Sure. But for us, it's really important that we can have a little bit of a footprint elsewhere, and then organically, like Zach mentioned, the word of mouth or our programs and the amount of eyes that get on our organization really spiderwebs out from there. So we sort of have a process of, okay, we're going to have these backpacking events and these volunteer initiatives and these fundraisers X amount a year per general location, major cities, etc. We know we're going to give out at least X amount of impact of our gift bag program per year in these areas, and then we can sort of add to each location from there. So I think you guys can kind of see it's a lot of the same scaling principles that you guys are probably learning in the classrooms or learning as student orgs together. And yeah, is anyone interested in doing nonprofit work or volunteer work? Okay. Cool. Yeah, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to work and every day give back. There's a lot that we're focusing on now as an organization about giving, feeling good, and really empowering people. No matter what you're going through in life, if people can give back, no matter how old you are, no matter where you are, if you can have some sort of opportunity to help someone else and make them feel good, it makes you feel good. So the fact that we get to do this is really a privilege. There's a lot of intricacies of accounting and legalities that make it a lot harder than a normal for-profit S Corp, C Corp entity. But that is because you have a level of trust with donors and people giving you money that you have to be transparent about. And we try to always, how can we be more transparent? How can we be more communicative to the communities that we serve and the people involved in the organization to show where their dollars going? For us, we equate every $10 raised packs one gift bag. So, like I said before, in Florida Gulf Coast, they raised a little over $1,000. They packed a little over 100 gift bags, and we gave them to a local hospital near their school. So that sort of process for us really helps people understand where their dollars go.
I think I'm glad to see that we have some people that are interested in nonprofit work, but I think the idea that can stem from that more so is that even if it's for profit, I think pretty much any business or brand can be boiled down to helping someone else. That no matter if you're starting a health food company or a coffee shop, there's something in there that is bettering someone else's day, and that's what you're ultimately gonna push to someone. This is gonna make you stronger. This is gonna provide a safe space for you to work. This is, for us, this is gonna help pediatric patients. So I think kind of the business principles of not-for-profit work are directly related, and it's something that I don't necessarily know how much it's taught within universities, but I think there is a lot that can be drawn from it to bring back to your daily life, and then also the business that you want to create in the future.
Yeah, so as I mentioned in the beginning, we're here to help you guys.
Yeah, we have about 10 more minutes. I mean, that's a lot of time, but would love to see if there's anything else that you guys would want us to talk about, or if there's any specific questions you have.
And on top of that, we do have our little booth right outside the main speaking area. We're going to be packing the gift bags we just spoke about and making inspiration cards the rest of today and all of tomorrow and into Saturday. So stop by. We have a really cool giveaway going on. Kira here runs all of our marketing, so she would love for everyone to enter the giveaway. Follow us on social media.
200 Amazon gift card, free entry. I think you got to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and like the pinned post I'm trained well. Yeah, $200 Amazon gift card. So that, I mean,
And if you do all these things, you'll get a little Cynic t-shirt as well.
there you go.
So for us, this is a good example. This conference is here in Tampa. We're based out of the University of Tampa's Entrepreneurship Center as our Southeast headquarters, and these bags next week will go to a Tampa General Hospital outpatient facility about 15 or so minutes away. So that's really our goal, is to have a localized impact in each area, and we'll be doing it right here these next couple of days. So, yeah. Anything from you guys?
I do have a couple questions.
Yeah.
So you guys are from University of Tampa. You're working out of the Entrepreneurship Center. How many states are you in right now?
We're in 10 states and 3 provinces. And states kind of vary between how we work in each state. So we may go and partner with a business, or in some states, we're starting student organizations. So like University of Georgia, South Carolina, Central Florida, and Texas A&M right now. They're on their own, and Stony Brook University in New York, that's where I went, and it's the one I forgot, but they fundraise on their campus, usually throughout a semester period, and then host a backpacking. So uniquely, some of the organizations deliver to pediatric facilities that are on campus, or they deliver closely nearby off. So
we partner with a lot of universities and especially student organizations because they're usually looking to give back, or they're even looking to get more people involved. So I know student orgs are always looking to have events, recruitment, network. We sort of help student orgs tie in that networking and camaraderie component with some fundraising and volunteering, and we pair up every group we work with a local facility. So we try to make it as special for anyone that wants to get involved with volunteering or fundraising for us. So, yeah. Anything else?
Yes, so first of all, thank you very much for everything you guys do. My question is, how do you guys collaborate with the Ronald McDonald's House? And the second question is, are you guys thinking about probably sometime bringing this to South America?
We want to bring this all over the world. So for us, we really need, whether it be a Ronald McDonald House or some sort of facility that wants to partner with us. That's the first step. The second step will be, like I mentioned, a school, a youth group, a business that wants to get involved, help fundraise, and pack the gift bags. We can take care of everything else. Those are sort of the fundamental things. We were able to launch into Canada because we found some businesses and schools that wanted to sponsor the bags. We found some healthcare facilities that wanted to have, not just have the bags to give them out, but they really appreciated them, and there's a process there, and it's easy for everyone at that point. As far as Ronald McDonald Houses, they really operate a lot on just in-kind donations, which are items being donated. Almost everything, if you go into a Ronald McDonald House, from the beds to stuff in the kitchen, was donated by someone. So for them to receive our Squishmallows or our gift bags for their patients, and even they have a cart, they wheel them into the hospitals they're associated with, they're very receptive to receiving them. So
yeah, we work with a lot of Ronald McDonald Houses. So basically what we'll do is we'll give them gift bags, and then what they'll do is place it on the bed so that when they go, them or their family go into the room, it'll be waiting there for them. We've also donated, so in New York, we gave them like 700 Squishmallows at one point for the kind of the year for them. Every single person that comes in there can get one. And then something unique we're doing in New York in this holiday season is we're partnering with them for like their 12 holiday nights, and we're doing stuffed animal day. So a bunch of people, and we're actually doing it in central New Jersey as well. So we're partnered in New Jersey, New York, Florida, and then Vancouver with those Ronald McDonald Houses.
Do you guys do any work with Orlando?
Oh, and Orlando, yes.
Yes, yeah, we're actually giving a bunch of toys, I believe,
Yeah.
to the one in Orlando in November. Yeah.
There's 3 of them.
Yeah, we're doing a toy drive with a company based out of Orlando, and basically, so for larger scale toys that don't fit into the gift bags, we'll go to a local community center or Ronald McDonald House and donate them there. So just kind of keeping that circle of giving going. So making sure everything's clean, new, and unused, and then we'll donate them somewhere else. So the company is doing a toy drive late November for Thanksgiving, and then from there, they're gonna bring everything straight to the Ronald McDonald House in Orlando.
Yeah. And a lot of our relationships, whether it be on the community side or the hospital side, we strive to get to the right person, which is usually the top-down approach. And I think that is really something that I wish I focused on when I was in college and getting out of college. A lot of times you think, what's the easiest point of entry? Let me just get, my business, product or service in the door in front of someone, brand awareness. That's all great. But when you're trying to make something sustainable, you really need support from the right people, especially the right decision makers. So that's something that the last couple of years we've really strived to do. If we're going to partner with a business, if we're going to partner with a hospital, we have a set of expectations for them to work with us. And a lot of the times we end up having to talk to someone higher up, which is good because then things flow from the top down and it sort of becomes a standard within a business, a school, a youth group, a hospital, etc. So that's something that I always really like to bring up. That yes, there is the brand awareness and there's getting your product or service out there, but then once it's out there, you need it to be sustainable. So then you really got to make sure you're dealing with the right people. Anything else?
It's not necessarily a question, but just from what I had observed, I loved this session, and especially with entrepreneurship. What I've seen, they talk a lot about corporate, a lot about finance, and I guess I've seen very little within more of the emotional based or more of the heartfelt based. So seeing this was really cool. And in my university, I hold a leadership position where, one of the things I always say is it's not what you get while you're here, but it's what you give. And I think you guys have really I guess got the passion of that. I don't know, the video got me kind of mushy.
Oh yeah.
From just watching it. But yeah, I really want to commend you guys on your work. It's been, and especially here within the global conference, it's very good to have, I guess, these types of foundations brought up to students, because at the end of the day, it's not always going to be about how much money you make or how much expansion you guys have done, which either way, what, like you mentioned, you went to 10 states so far and you want to expand even, globally all over the world. So you found an amazing balance between the two. So I really wanted to commend you guys on that.
For us, we're blessed and privileged to live comfortably and to give back. For us, it's not about, becoming millionaires, and that is a lot of entrepreneurs' journeys and ambitions from the get-go, and that is fine. For us, it's about the type of lives that we're living and the things that we're doing. And we do work with Bradley Cooper. That is his real name. He's our director of the Northeast, and his name is Bradley Cooper. So I just had to highlight him. He's not here today. He's actually packing gift bags with a company in New York City. Same thing. They donated money to us, and now their team's packing bags to go to a hospital in New York City. So.
Yeah, it's amazing you say that too, because I do accounting, or I never expected myself to do accounting, do finance, stuff like that, and it's become part of my daily life at this point. So it's not, the behind the scenes, sitting on the computer, the meetings, everything we're doing is extremely hard and stressful work with the rapid expansion and not for profit. We want to keep our administrative costs low. So all the money's going back into the program, so we can only have a team of 4. So we're doing business, now in North America with 4 people, and then we use our internship programs to try and really advocate for students and entrepreneurship students and these organizations to be involved in our operations. We need additional help doing research, marketing, helping Kira, making the videos, grant writing, grant research. It's only so much we can do, and the more and more and more we expand, the more I push on to Kira and Bradley, there's only so much we can all do. So it's really finding value in people as well, finding what people are good at, expanding to these universities, and we put our internship program everywhere because we want people to get meaningful work out of it. I can't promise that we're going to give you a paid internship, but I can promise that you're doing real life business while you're still in school. So that's one thing we really try and communicate. So I love that you said that, because that's what it's about. We want to share the good side of it, because you're going to experience whether you run a business or you're working for a business, you're going to experience the other side of the daily life. So amplifying what you're doing for the good is always going to benefit. Awesome.
Anything else?
Yeah.
What's your guys' revenue mix? Is it mostly grants, mostly those corporate sponsorships?
Yeah, so we have fundraising teams pretty much in every market. They go out and they fundraise for us. So that is the biggest portion of it in each of these markets. That's how we do sustained giving there. And then from there, we have 2 annual events in New York. While we would love to do more annual events, it probably takes about 3 months or so planning. So we have 2 very large-scale fundraising events there. Then from there, we have monthly donors, one-time donors, and then grants as well, which grants and corporate partnerships is what we're really focusing on now to take us to the next space, because we kind of have everything else running on autopilot. And if we can get big money funded for a specific hospital, this corporation helps us fund a hospital of their choosing, that's kind of what we're really trying to focus on right now, is amplifying those. And we've rehauled our grant writing and proposals over the last 3 or so months, and in turn we spend probably 30 or so days, really every single day, 8 hours a day, focusing on that. And in like the last week, we've had 4 grants and 2 of the proposals successfully given back to us. So now we're trying to see proof of the concept as well. Thanks, John.
That's another big thing. As Zach just said, what we're focusing on now, where you put your focus, you will see the results there. For even around 20 years we've been doing this, really not until the last 2 years we had a grant process. We had nothing. We had word of mouth. So wherever you put your focus in your business, it will eventually grow. You just have to create that process and focus in on it. And a lot of times it becomes, all right, either what's next or what's most important for the sustainability or the growth of it. Right now, like Zach said, a lot of things on autopilot, so let's focus on the things that aren't to take us to that next level. Nonprofit, sales, marketing, whatever it is, it all applies.
Process and structure. Develop a plan and step by step for how everything should run, from work backwards. What's your goal 5 years from now? What's your goal for this year? What's your goal for the quarters? And break it all down by day, and then develop a process that ultimately will help you kind of achieve each step along the way in every part of your business. So you look at every single segmentation, there should be a process and a structure and a routine for that. And where your segmentations are most strong, let them flow and let that work. Where they're their weakness, work on those actively, and then you'll kind of see those things cycle, because you'll have your focus on your weaker ones, they'll become stronger, hopefully that can sustain for a while, and then you bring it back to the things that you haven't focused on, and then kind of keep that thing rolling from there.
We got to wrap up now, but thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
If you want to learn more about bringing us to your campus or just your community, come see us. We'll be here the next couple of days, and that's our goal, to keep expanding this. So thank you guys for your time.